I've checked my YouTube statistic and I was wondering why 60% of people who are watching those videos of mine are not my subscribers. I'm curious. Anyway, let's move on. In today's video, as I promised, I want to grow your business by minimum 100%. But I have to say something. I have to admit something. This is not my idea. But do you know, guys, let's be honest. Someone said something in the past. It may be Aristotle, I don't know. But as if I remember, who I'm following is Tony Robbins. Who was his mentor? Jim Rohn. Who was his mentor? It was Earl Shaw. Earl Shaw passed something to Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn used this information, passed it to Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins used some of this information, some of another people information, what he liked. He also discovered a lot of new things for himself. But it's very difficult in today's world to come up with new. And the thing is, it doesn't need to be new. Important it's working. And I want to say that the things that I'm gonna be sharing with you, I've learned from Tony Robbins. And you know, he's my role model. You need to have a role model as well. I've done some training with Tony Robbins, Business Mastery 1 and 2. And one of the main things what we are doing, it's called optimization and maximization. And I'm not gonna share you his sheets, I can't. It's his, but I will want to share with you just the idea, the concept, how is it working with your business, that if you are bringing those 20% more leads, and if you miss the video of 20% more leads, you need to go the last week video, check this video first, and after come back in here, because it's not gonna make sense for you. So hurry up, go there, check it out, make sure to listen till the end, and come back over here. Once you are here, there is a 4-step process usually in lots of businesses, how you can use that. And I'll share with you the 4-step process first, and after we'll talk about it a little bit more in detail. So firstly, you have those leads. We said focus on 20% more leads. And I said you need to know your number. If you don't measure, you don't manage. So let's say you have a business and you are contacting 100 people a month. Let's say a month. You have 100 leads and those 100 leads are there. And you contact those leads. From those leads, you need to find out how many people want to actually speak with you. This is very important, because if you have 100 leads, doesn't mean that you have 100 appointments set. No, you'll phone 100 people and maybe, I don't know, 60% of those people will pick up the phone. And from the 60 people, maybe 50% of them will want to set up an appointment with you. So the first step is to set up a meaningful conversation, just an appointment for the next time. Because if you phone someone who is maybe in your list and they download your PDF or whatever you are offering to people, they might be busy. You call him in a situation where maybe they have a lunch break, maybe they are at work and they don't have a half an hour to speak with you, but they might listen to you for 2-3 minutes to book a follow-up call. This is what we do. So you'll phone them, you will set up the appointment. When you set up the appointment, they need to show up. That's the problem what we are having. People are not showing up. So if you're gonna book the appointment through my link in here, in the description, you better show up. Because we have the problem with that. If you're not gonna show up, it's not gonna really help us with our numbers. And we really want to push the numbers more up. Am I saying it right? I hope I do. Okay, show up rate. When people show up, you need to know those numbers after you are speaking with those people. So this is the appointment held. And on that appointment, usually, it depends on your process, but usually you will sell them something. You'll sell them a ticket, you will sell them your course, you will sell them your services, your products, whatever it is. And there's another number. And also, you can have another step, which is getting referrals. But why I'm sharing all of that in here? So these are a few steps in here. And we said in the last video that I want you to focus on 20% more leads. Because you as a business owner, only thing you need to be like magnet. Wherever you go, you are just bringing people to you. You are going to networking events, people want to do business with you. You are making social media posts or whatever. People are contacting you, they want to be doing business with you. But you don't have time to chat with everybody and do everything. No, you'll pass it to your team. And if you don't have a team, now you'll be doing it yourself, but eventually you'll become so busy that you will need to build that team. Now, we said 20% more leads. This is the one thing which I wanted you to focus on last week. Now, when you are having this first conversation, somebody's phoning them. So what we need to do, we need to increase the percentage of people are booking those follow-up calls. And how are we gonna do that? We're gonna do that by training either ourselves or our staff to be better in this conversation. There is so many ideas you can do, so many different scripts you can test. And the best part is you can speak with people who are already doing those calls and see how they are doing it, because sometimes people just don't know what to say. And I've been the same. When I started with my coaching business, there was no script. I called the people and I was like, tell me more about you, and they told me, I listened, and after I, follow up with them. And sometimes from kind of a conversation when I wanted to lead them somewhere, we've been totally somewhere else, and I knew everything about their life, but I didn't know anything how to get them to the side I want to be. It was total mess. So after I created my first script, after I created second script, and now I have another script. Scripts are there to help you. Okay, you don't need to read it word for word, but once you know it and you read it a few times and you test it, you will see that it'll massively improve your business, and if you teach to your staff or to your team. Okay, so this is what we need to focus on. So let's say you will increase that by 3-5%. And again, how are you going to find out? You need to measure. So that's the first thing. You want to increase the conversion of people who are booking the appointment. Another part is actually the show up. People are not showing up. If people are not showing up, what can you do to increase the show up rate? Do you need to send them extra message? Maybe people are not listening for that. Maybe you need to send them a voice note half an hour before the call. Hi Vincent, I'm so excited that we have this discovery call in half an hour. I just wanted to say I'm looking forward to speaking with you. Maybe when people book the call with you, there'll be a link to another video to tell them that they need to show up. And if they don't show up, consequences. They cannot book that call again. Yeah, and it's reasonable because they are taking half an hour or 1 hour in your calendar and you are busy, you are building a business, or your team is, and if they're not gonna show up, you don't want to do business with people like that unless they have a good reason they didn't show up. So you want to work on your show up rate. Again, a lot of different ways how to do it, and we are testing a lot of ways ourselves. If you would like to know any more examples, feel free to just comment and we'll let you know. Another thing, when people actually show up, this is your sale process. In here, people usually selling unless they want to find out more information and sell on another call. But what is your sale process? How is it? Do you have it scripted, or are you just going from your head and you are thinking like, why is that 1 month I close 2 people and another 3 months I don't close anybody? Because you don't have a script. Because you don't have the proper way how you are doing it. And more you'll be doing it with the script, better it will become for you. So I have a script written in front of me when I'm speaking with people, and yes, we sometimes go off the script, but the thing is, I know in the bullet points what we should be discussing, because this call is about something. There is a reason why we are having that call. And if people just want advice, yes, if you do that, you can give them advice as much as you want, as I do. On my first call, I'll just give people tips. I don't sell anything, I just give people advice what they can do with their business, and if they want after that call to have another call to discuss how we can work together, yes, we can, but not the first call, it's only value. Because I want to first pass people value and my expertise to show them that actually by working with me, it will really benefit their business. Because if somebody sell you something in the first half an hour, usually they'll give you 15 minutes of finding out more about you, and in the next 15 minutes they're selling you, so actually you don't know much about them. So that's why I'm doing it this way. So I have another call. On that call, just value, and if they want another call, then we'll discuss the options. So this is how we work. And I promised you that your business can grow by 100%. So, and I meant it, because the thing is, you need to focus when you are measuring things on very small improvements in your business, either yourself or with your team. We already talked about leads. This is the massive thing. This is very important at the beginning. Second thing, it's how many people are actually booking the appointment. So we need to increase that. So if you imagine that we increase at least 5% of each section, we can calculate it. 5% to increase the booking appointment, 5% increase the show-up rate, and 5% increase the sales. Okay, so if you put those numbers together, so imagine, I don't know how much that will be. In my process, I'm doing a sale and the second call, but in this scenario, let's say you have 100 people. I don't know if I'll do it from my head, but hopefully 100 people. I'll take a calculator. In your first scenario, let's say you have 100 people and you are calling people and 50% of people will show up. So from this 100 people, you have 50. From these 50 people who books an appointment with you, from these 50 people, 40 people show up. 40 people show up, right? And from these 40 people, let's say you have 5 people buy something. So you have 5 people that buy. And that will be your number. So we need to know what are the percentages at the moment. From 100 people, 50 people will show up. It's a 15% show up rate, all right? That's very simple. From this 50 people, 40 people, no, this is booked appointments. The second one is show up rate. From 50 people, 40 people will show up. So this is 80% of show up rate from that 50 number. And from this 40 people, 5 people buy. And they'll buy whatever they buy. So it is 12.5%. And now, this is how many people buy. And the last thing, which is very important, is what is the value of whatever they are buying, right? So at the moment, let's say it's a £100 product. So you would make £500 in this scenario. And we want to increase it also by 5%. Yeah, we are increasing everything by 5%. So if I'll go with the new numbers, so we are not phoning 100 people, but we are phoning 120 people. From 120 people, we want to increase the show up rate from 50 to 55%. As I said, we'll go 5% for each. So 120 and 55. So we have 66 people are coming for the call. They book the call. From this, we are increasing from 80% to 85% for the show up rate. So we are having 66 people and we will do show up rate 85%. So we have 56 people, 56.1. From this 56.1, how many people will buy? Instead of 12.5%, we want 17.5, multiply 17.5. It's a 9.8 people. And from that, instead of buying a £100 product, they'll be buying £105 product, multiplied 105, £1,030. In the first scenario of our business, we have 100 leads, and from these 100 leads, we sold to 5 people, and we have made £500. In the second scenario, I wanted you to focus mainly on leads. This is your main purpose, and after every step in your process, you increase by only 5%. Not 20%, not 50%, only 5%. Small increments. And yes, you can do it. Yes, you can increase 5% each of these sections if you have the proper training or if your team has the proper training. Because very often, like we are small business owners, we think our team is doing what we ask them to do. But let me tell you, I have hired someone and for 4 months, he was doing calls for us. And I didn't measure. After I started recording those calls, because I figured out that we can record it, after I listened maybe 10 calls, and 2 weeks later, the person wasn't working with us. I had to fire him. And the reason is because I started measuring, and the person was going off the script all the time, even though it was properly prepared script. And I'm guessing this can be also happening in your business, and maybe you don't even know about it. And sometimes we are kind of blind to those things because we believe in our people and we think like, no, I start doing whatever they can. I mean, if they cannot close more clients, that's all right. No, it's not all right. We can measure. So you have the option to measure. And if you don't know how to train your team, you need to find some people who can train your sales team and doing those calls. At the moment we are chatting with one guy and we want to train him for those calls. And also cool thing, which actually we found out last week, is that when you are having those new people, do you know what? You don't need to train them on your leads. Because you have your leads, they are coming your way, and sometimes you think like, it's a new person, he needs to get a lot of experience, we need to test him, and you don't want to give him these leads because you don't want him to ruin it. Do you know what? You can train him with AI. Because AI, you can have someone on the other side speaking as a person, and it's actually AI. So you can have a sales team doing who is doing the calls and be training with them. This is exactly what we'll be doing with our person. Training with AI. One is ready, plugging in our system and making calls to everybody else. So, if you ever downloaded something from me, or you will maybe now in this description of the video, we will call you. We'll call you, and you can let me know how he or she was, because you know we are building that team. So, just to recap, if you are still here at the end, I want to say big congratulations, because most of the people after 50% of video, or maybe earlier, they just give up. Their attention span is very short, but you know what? I think if there is something valuable to learn, people are happy to listen. And sorry for the confusion with the calculation, it took me some time, but we are here. We managed it. The recap is, in your processes, conversation booked, show up rate, sales, and increasing the sales value, you can increase 3%, 5%, 10%, whatever you want, but start small. Because if you bring 20% more leads, as we discussed, and after increase 5% of each step, it will accumulate, and you make, in this example, instead of 500, 1,030 pounds in the same process with small increments. Thank you very much for watching, and if you know about anybody who is the small business owner, share this video with them. Help me to spread it to the world.